Morning. Australia is outraged by the Israeli government's decision to not pursue any criminal proceedings against those responsible. To learn of these developments in these circumstances was especially insulting and hurtful to Zombie's loved ones, to humanitarians and to Australians. Morning. Australia is outraged by the Israeli government's decision to not pursue any criminal proceedings against those responsible for killing Zombie Francom and her World Central Kitchen colleagues. Australian government learned of Israel's decision late last night, moments before it was announced, on World Humanitarian Day. It is the day we commemorate humanitarian workers lost and celebrate and commend the work of humanitarians everywhere. We had just launched the Zombie Francom Humanitarian Award, and we didn't have the opportunity to inform Zombie's family before Israel's decision was made public because of the lack of notice. To learn of these developments in these circumstances was especially insulting and hurtful to Zombie's loved ones, to humanitarians and to Australians. And today I called in Ambassador Hillel Newman, the Israeli ambassador to Australia. And I made clear to him Australia's views, that Israel's decision falls far short of the accountability we expect. And last night, Australia's ambassador to Israel conveyed the same message directly to Israeli authorities, including the Office of the Foreign Minister. There are still many unanswered questions. The Australian government does not believe that the removal of 2 officers from their positions and 3 officers being reprimanded is sufficient accountability for the deaths of 7 people, including an Australian citizen. And we do not have confidence in the IDF's Military Advocate General's process, given the many unanswered questions. Well, I think we have an Australian humanitarian worker who was killed, not on the first strike, but in the context of 3 separate strikes on a humanitarian convoy. I mean, obviously this is a difficult time in the relationship. We've made our views clear about this issue. We've made our views clear about other issues. You've seen the Netanyahu government's response to some of those. I think we are realistic about that.
Would you like this one? Sorry, Ambassador.
We're very sorry for the family. We express deep sorrow and grief with the family of Zombie Francom, and I'd just like to tell them straightforward, we grieve with you. We're very sorry for the circumstances that brought about this death. Any innocent life is a tragedy, especially this case as well, because here I am in Australia and this is an Australian. We care, but in the end, one must also understand that not every case where someone dies as a casualty, it means that there's criminal liability. One cannot attack findings of a court if the findings are not suitable to one's political agenda. So the findings of the court came to the conclusion, after 2 years of independent research, that there's no criminal liability. We must respect that, as we do in every case of a investigation. So specific routes, they deviated from the route. I said again, we express deep sorrow and grief with the family. I don't want to go into apologize, has all kinds of legal ramifications. As the court has decided that there's no criminal liability, I cannot accept liability on the behalf of the State of Israel for the family. But I can express deep sorrow and grief, and we see it as a tragedy. Circumstances that led that there was armed personnel.
عشان تصور انا يعني طب ايش اسوي طيب؟ عشان تصور انا يعني طب ايش اسوي طيب؟ الله أكبر.